So I kind of felt recently like I should do a focused video on this. This might be kind of lengthy, because my channel started with just Street Fighter stuff, with just fighting game stuff, and a lot of what happened with that has kind of been, I want to say, lost to time. And it's just really scattered, and I kind of wanted to go over basically kind of everything that happened to get me into fighting games. What kept me in it, what I enjoyed about it, but also why I just kind of stopped. And I really haven't gone back to it yet. Like I've wanted to a couple times, but it's just never been a thing. I guess it's never been a huge draw for me anymore. Um, so first off, like I guess backstory: when I was younger, like I was never huge into fighting games. Like I'd play as a 10-year-old, like Mortal Kombat's and Clay Fighter and stuff, and never anything serious, just a lot of button mashing. Um, the only fighting game I remember actually taking with any sort of I want to get good at this was the original Marvel vs. Capcom. But even then, I wasn't really that good. I would just play a lot at there's a bowling alley that had the arcade machine. I'd play that a lot. What got me into it was when I was owning the store in Bangor, and Street Fighter 4 had just come out, and it kind of went under my radar. I've never really been a Street Fighter person. I knew who they were, but that's about it. Um, so a couple of my customers are watching a series of videos by this guy named Darkside Phil. Yes, I'm about to say this. So them watching this, I got interested. So I watched Darkside Phil, like his early stuff, which was Street Fighter 4, and that's how I discovered Street Fighter 4. And from there, I picked it up and I wanted to play it. The problem was I personally didn't have an Xbox 360. The store did, so I would go into the store before and after hours just to play Street Fighter 4. And the character I picked and had always had played as through the entirety of 4 was El Fuerte, because I never wanted a Shoto. I never wanted something that was kind of basic to the series, but I liked how new and just kind of off the wall Fuerte was, and I always liked luchas. So, sure, I went with Fuerte and I just practiced Fuerte, and that's all I did. Um, and I played it for a while, and I enjoyed it, and I continued to enjoy it. And then I started finding people on YouTube who were doing Street Fighter stuff, and I started making some replies and some vlogs about Street Fighter. Um, and I talked to a couple of them, but nothing any serious. Like, who was I? I was just some guy in Maine who really liked Street Fighter. And I started following the community, and part of that community was Fight Nation EX, which was run basically by Dayasha. Um, and so I started following a lot of those guys, a lot of other personalities at the time. Free One Up was one. Um, King Kindred for a while was one on there. Goodness, there, there are a number of personalities that at the time I was like, oh, these guys are a big deal. They're a name, and they're no one anymore. Jesus, I should really look up if Free One Up is still around. Um, so you know, we would sometimes play online. If we found each other, that'd be cool. And then the FNX crew announced, hey, we're gonna do a tournament. This is months into it. We're gonna do a tournament. And so we want people who have YouTubes, who can post the matches to play in this, and it'll be like, I think, yeah, 16-person tournament, just a small thing. Okay, cool. So I see if I can get in, and I do. Okay, so I play against, I think it was Haunter V, which was, I don't think he might have been from Britain. I cannot recall for the life of me. But I play Haunter and I win. Cool. Post those matches, whatever. Next one is Brandon Jumper, and I didn't know this at the time, but a lot of people, like Dayasha guys, they knew Brandon, they liked Brandon. And he was up against some guy, and I beat Brandon Jumper. And I remember hearing it over the Xbox voice communication. The guys are like, "So who wanted to be like GoggleCandy?" And they're like, "What?" Like, yeah, Oh, hmm. So I played that, and then I think it was after store hours was when Dayosh should be back, and I had to play him next. And I remember specifically like the internet turning to complete crap, and I found it funny that he would start saying that it was DSP's internet, because now DSP was kind of a joke as far as the laggy stuff was. Like Dayashi made it very clear he did not like DSP, so the fact that I was still subbed to DSP, I kept quiet. Um, and I lost, but top four with Fuerte. Okay, they at least knew that I was a guy. Sure, sure, I'll take that. Um, I at the time I felt much better about myself than I really was. I wasn't really that good. Looking back at my gameplay, I was not that good. Um, and I kept. Oh, and then after this, a couple months later, I was able to get a used 360 for my store. Not for my store, used 360 for myself, and I started playing at home, playing in my apartment, which is good because that meant I stopped borrowing my neighbors' 360 occasionally or the stores. This is a step up. And I started playing regularly. And I started posting more things on YouTube, more matches, more stuff. This was when everyone was videotaping matches on their TV. Occasionally, someone would have a capture device, but usually it was videotaping the matches, and then you'd post them and stuff. Um, and I was starting to get a little cocky. I shouldn't have been that cocky. But I was getting cocky. And then during I don't think I was no I wasn't even playing Street Fighter at the time. I remember specifically I was playing the Tales of game that's on um 360. Is that Vesperia? It's the one with the guilds. I was playing that, and I got invited by Burn Your Bra and Alvarez because they were on Xbox with me, and they invited me. Oh, and Shine was there too, and they invited me, and I joined FNEX. Okay, cool. I am the Forte guy of FNEX, and I remember I played Shine way too much. Like I rarely played anyone aside from Shine, Alvarez, occasionally Brandon Jumper, but usually with Shine. I got very used to playing against Gokins, very used to it. Um, and this continued for a while. We did some more FNX stuff, but I never actually met any of the guys. And as I was in Maine with my own little, store, I couldn't really go to a tournament. But I was still having fun. I was part of this community, part of this online group that really liked Street Fighter. So I just kept up with it. Um, what comes next? What comes next? Uh, Hold on. I have notes. Um, oh yeah. So around this time now, Super Street Fighter 4 is announced, and we're all getting hyped. Who's going to be in it? What are the new characters? What are they going to be like? How amazing are they? Oh, they're going to be two ultras. Oh, that's going to be so great. All these balance changes. We were all excited. We were all kind of psyched for this. And there was so much hype. I decided I was going to do a thought video on every character, on every single character that was available. And basically what happened was I got to Forte, and like my enthusiasm for the videos just kind of dropped. They were getting decent views, but like after I hit Forte, Super came out a couple days later, and it's like I don't find the point in this anymore. I hit my character. So I was kind of I wasn't really that good with it. No, I really should have kept up a bit better. Um, oh, and there's the whole Hakan and jury thing, which that was fun. Loved Hakan. Um, so this is still going. The next chapter in this is I end up leaving the store. Um, there are many accusations thrown my way. That's a whole different video. That's many years old at this time. Uh, but I left on some not great grounds, and that left me. I changed to a new job, a new apartment, um, and at this time I started getting into Marvel vs. Capcom had come out. Um, so I started playing that a lot more. Um, Additionally, around this time, a guy who I'd met through the store, Tony, he started inviting me over to practice at his apartment, and he kept saying that he wanted to run events and tournaments and stuff, and he wanted to grow this fighting game community in Maine. I was like, dude, go for it. Like, all the power to you. How little I knew he would push for that group. Oh my word. I have so much respect for Tony. Um, and so I remember clearly, this is not quite a year later, because Ultimate came out within a year of regular. I remember the first tournament he ran was, I believe, the weekend after Ultimate Marvel came out. So he had a tournament for Street Fighter 4, he had a tournament for Ultimate Marvel, um, and he had a couple other tournaments, but I did not participate in those. The big ones were those two, and that's the ones I participated in. Now at the time, it was most just this general group of us, and we were like, we were all tight knit. And then at the tournament, this guy shows up. This guy named Will. Hi, Will. He shows up. He talking. Let's be honest. He talks a lot of shit about being from New York, and how it's just I've trained with so much better people. And he came in, and I remember me and him got to the finals of Street Fighter 4, and he won. They were good matches. And he won that one, and then we got to Ultimate Marvel. Yeah, Street Fighter 4 he won. Ultimate Marvel we played, and he to you can make these arguments, but it's a new game. You should know all the characters. He did not know how Phoenix Wright worked, so I stood back, collected evidence every single match, and just destroyed him. That's that's just how it is. That's how it goes. Um, and I won that tournament, through that. Um, and then the tournaments like became regular things. And they were fun to go to. There's same groups usually, hang out with the same people, talk to the same people, and they were all good people. Most were good people. Um, and this continued, and sometime later, I still had never met any of the guys from FNEX, like in person. I'd never gone to a tournament. And the few times that they would make videos about the crew, about this whole team, very rarely was I ever mentioned. And the one time that Dayasha, when I was away to make t-shirts for everyone, he got my name wrong. Now I get it. Everyone, when they first see my name or see my my handle, is GoggleCandy. That's what everyone gets that wrong because that's what you're pertain to. I'd been in this group for a while, now, and in that time, while I understand you don't always since he's never met me in person, he doesn't know me online. I made sure to make myself known. I talked to him on Skype before. I bought an old stick from him, and everyone I've tried to talk to, my gamer tag was always there, and he still just gets my name wrong and doesn't even catch it. And when I pointed out, his only response was, "Well, do you want me to send the shirt anyway?" Not, "Oh, sorry, my bad. Let me redo the shirt for you because you're on the team." No, I didn't even get that. So at that point, I was like, "Well, they just don't know or slash don't care." So I'm not going to stick around. And I left FNEX. Not that it really seemed to bother them or not. I'd be surprised if they ever fucking noticed. So later like a couple months later, I am let go from my job. I'm on unemployment. So I've got a lot of time. I'm searching for jobs, and I'm trying to find new work. So I've got a lot of time to play Ultimate, a lot of time to play Street Fighter, but I don't have a lot of money to buy new things like the new Mortal Kombat or Injustice or any of that. I don't have money or time for any of that, and it hurts. There's a lot out there that I want to get into, but I can't. But tournaments and events are still going on, and they're some are really good, some are okay. They're still going, and I want to go. If at least if I don't participate in many or I don't do well, I want to go there to support Tony because this is Tony's baby. This is Tony's group. I want to support him. Tony's a good guy, and I respect him. Um, Now, during this time, I've also played Will a lot, and we almost always play in every tournament. And you know, I think once he blew me out, but every time like it was usually like 2-1. I would always lose, but they'd be at least good matches usually. Um, so like okay, I'm trying to get better. I want to get I want to beat this this demon, like this monkey on my back sort of thing. Um, and then the tournament happens, and this is the catalyst. Like I'm already kind of like salty about all these losses, and I'm not doing as well. I'm not having as much fun with it, and I can't really put the money towards these new games, or really go and play with these guys at their apartments and stuff as much. Um, just I can't. I don't. I'm not driving at the time. Well, no. When I lost my job, I did have a car. Before that, I did not have a car for like up until like 4 months before I lost my job. Um, so like there's that. But this tournament happens, and I go there, and I remember specifically I picked up a couple 360s from a mutual friend for them to use at the event. I drop them off for Tony. I sign up, and I see everyone there. I see Will, of course, and I see everyone there. They're setting up for Smash. They're setting up for Street Fighter. They're setting up for all these games. So I only sign up for Street Fighter. Sure. And at this point I've got Forte, and I've got a really good Geef. I've been practicing Zangief a lot, and I've got this. I I've been really trying to get this down. And I know his Will's main is Sea Viper. That even if he has a counter to Geef, at some point he's gonna lean on Viper, because I lean on Forte. I know that much. So of course we end up playing. So and this is how this goes down. And mind you, looking at the rules, there's nothing in the rules against this because it wasn't written down, but everyone kind of knows better, right? He knew better, and that's one of the kickers. So we play the first round. It's my Forte and his Viper goes back and forth. He ends up getting the win. Okay, fine. Go back to character select. Now I'm gonna switch to Geef. All right, because I lost, so I'll go switch to Geef. So going to character select, I switch Geef. He then chooses a counter to Geef. Do you see the problem there? Like, he's no stranger to this. He's gone to terms before. We all kind of know this unspoken etiquette because it's rules and it's a rule in every other tournament. It's an unspoken rule at like all these side tournaments that if you lose, you can choose your character. Your opponent doesn't then fucking counter pick or change his own character or any of that. But Will did, and I remember specifically he chose it, and it went to like stage select, and and it was my choice stage select. And I remember like it went to stage select, and I just turned and I looked at him, like, are you fucking really? So fine, all right, I play. I get the next win, and then we play a third game, and I get the loss. And I can't remember if I shook his hand or not. If I did, I probably shouldn't have. And I got up, and I think I went salty right into the losers bracket match, and I just like refused to switch and all this, and I just lost, whatever. Shook his hand. I walked up to Tony. I was like, Tony, this is the bullshit that happened. I'm leaving. Have a good rest of the day. Bye. And I left, and I remember like something like Will is something like, well, there's no rule, or he tried to give some excuse for it, but like it's a fucking douche move that happened, and it just ruined the entire thing for me. Because like if it's not you let that shit happen at a tournament, why do I want to come to your tournament? Like, I love you, Tony. I do, and I I completely respect you, and I know you change things afterwards, but that ruins like anything left that I was enjoying of the game, And so I was done. This is before Ultra comes out, and I don't think I ever really played Ultra. Like I was just so done at this point. Um, and I moved on, and I never really got back into any other fighting game after that. Like I moved on, started doing more Yu-Gi-Oh vids and other stuff, and I never got back into the fighting games. I tried, and there was just no enjoyment for it. Like the most I could play was Smash, but I could never really play it on competitive point because it would just I would just hate I just hate it, you know. And I wanted to get into other games. I really did. There's a lot of like five. I was hoping five would get me back into it, and five's just a giant load. Five is a giant load. Like I could watch any stream of Street Fighter 4 and I'd enjoy it. I could play Street Fighter 4 before and I would enjoy it. 5 I couldn't on either count. I can't watch 5. It's not entertaining for me. So and at this point, all like Marvel isn't entertaining because it's just the same dumb freaking crap all the time, and I just don't care. I just don't care. Um, so yeah, that's kind of built up my FGC sort of like love and really into it and all this community stuff, and then just kind of you know disrespect, 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 douche move. Done. I'm done. All the people who are still into it, great. They're having a great time. Tony, I know he's still running it. He's doing great with it. I still respect the hell out of that man. His stuff is great, what he does. But I can't be part of that community again. Like the whole thing was soured for me, and I'm done. Um, but I felt this video's gone on long enough. I kind of explain here and there. So if you watched, hopefully you enjoyed it. This is just a video I've kind of wanted to do and just kind of put everything into a nice cohesive package. Question and comments put down there, I'll try and answer them. And until next time, guys, see ya.